Hi folks, how you doing? Rev Paul here from Trinity Anglican Church in Cambridge and from the Sent, God's Church Deployed, here with this week's message from the truck. It's a beautiful day outside today as I'm recording this, just a beautiful fall day. The temperature is just about right. The sun is shining. The leaves are starting to change color, but we're not going to mention that too long. But it is a beautiful day. It is wonderful to be here with you as we have an opportunity here to share in a little reflection on God's scriptures and also an opportunity to share a few announcements that are coming up for specifically the community of Trinity Church here in Cambridge. Just a couple of things. I had the opportunity this week, as it is getting closer to my birthday, I had the opportunity to be able to go in to a drive test center and write my driving exams for all of my commercial licenses. And for any of you who are interested, I passed with flying colors, so I am still licensed to be able to be on the road with the big machinery and so on. But one of the things that crossed my mind while I was in there was a conversation that happened back when I was about 16 years old doing driver's education for the very first time. Vern Shantz was our driving instructor from Elmira District Secondary School back in the day. And I had the opportunity to have him share with me a piece of information about driving that has stuck with me ever since I took that first driver's education class. He said to me, or he said to our class, really, not just to me, he said, there is no such thing as heavy traffic. There's no such thing as dangerous conditions caused by vehicles if you leave a safety gap between you and the person in front of you. So we all know about that safety gap, that couple of seconds between you and the car in front of you to make sure that if they stop, you can stop, and if they swerve, you can swerve, and all of that kind of thing. And it certainly has been a valuable piece of information that I've held on to over the course of my commercial driving when I was driving a tractor trailer back in the day, as well as actually in my motorcycle driving. I feel that there's always been that sense of I'm just a little bit safer thanks to that information, that wisdom, if you will, that was shared by Vern Shantz way back in the day when I was in driver's education. And as I was thinking about that, and I was listening actually to last week's readings, as we were sharing that message about in the gospel, remember it was the gospel about if somebody sins against you, you should go with them and let them know that that's happened. And if they don't respond, take another person with you. But the Romans reading, the letter of Paul to the Romans, talked about the importance of not sinning against your neighbor. So the importance of not causing them harm, not stealing from them, not wanting what they have, not committing adultery, not committing murder, all of those important commandments that we have. And Paul says in his letter to the Romans that all of those things are irrelevant if you follow the most important rule that Jesus shared with us in regards to our human existence, that being to love our neighbors as ourselves. And I got to thinking about that compared with the wisdom of Vern Shantz and thought to myself, you know what? There's actually a great deal of wisdom shared in the idea that if we're maintaining that safety zone when we're driving, it means we're in a place where it's that much more difficult to get into trouble, into a panic situation. And I got to thinking about the words of Paul, of St. Paul, when he says if we are watching out for one another by loving one another, if our primary goal is to love and care for our neighbor, we can't possibly do them harm. You can't love your neighbor and steal from them. You can't love your neighbor and covet what they have. You can't love your neighbor and murder, as would be pretty clear to understand. But it's really a sense that that message from Christ, that message from Jesus that says that we are to love our neighbor as we are loved ourselves, is kind of like a spiritual safety zone. It's kind of like that safety cushion that Vern Shantz taught me about years ago that has led to a safe driving record over all those years, compared to our spiritual journey, where if we leave that important commandment in front of us, if we leave that important message about loving our neighbor, we can't help but not sin against them. So I'm just going to leave that with you to think about. What does it mean to have that spiritual safety zone, that spiritual 2-second gap between us and the people that we meet on the street or at the grocery store, in the shopping mall, or even at church? What does it mean to always remember that spiritual safety zone of loving your neighbor always has to be a priority in all the decisions you make? I'm just going to let that sit for now. Well, let's see. We've got some announcements to share. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of announcements. There's all kinds of stuff going on at Trinity in the coming weeks and even up to a month from now. Let's see. We've got this coming Sunday. Let's start there. We've got church at 8 o'clock, of course, our worship at 8 o'clock. Worship at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock worship includes Sunday school. That's right. Our Sunday school is back. The teachers are pumped up and excited. We've got new curriculum. We've got new resources. Looking really forward to seeing all of our young people between kindergarten and grade 6 coming out to share in the new curriculum and the new opportunity to join in Sunday school. So that starts this coming Sunday, the 17th of September. We also have a concert in the park. Concert in the park at 2 o'clock, following last week's success with my brother Jeff. This week we have the Kiwanis Children and Youth Choir coming and joining us, so look forward to hearing what they have to offer us at 2 o'clock. Also, on Sunday the 17th at 3 o'clock, we have Decoration Day at Trinity Cemetery. So looking forward to anybody who's able to join us for that. So all kinds of things going on this coming Sunday. This coming week, we have our regular lectionary Bible study on Wednesday. That's at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We also have our second installment of Beer, Bottles, in the Bible, our From the Pews to the Pub event, taking place at 13 Food and Beverage here in Galt, in Cambridge. Looking forward to that. That's at 6 o'clock. Please make sure you sign up for that with the church office to make sure that we've got a spot for you. Let's see what else is going on. We also have at the end of next week, I guess that'll be the 23rd of September, we have our supper club, Trinity Supper Club. So that event is taking place. Check your bulletin for that. Looking ahead, we have an induction coming up, the service of induction that will officially make me the rector of Trinity Cambridge. That takes place on Sunday the 14th of October. Let's see, the day before that we have a messy church, St. Francis of Assisi focused messy church. We have a chicken dinner coming up at the end of October with all kinds of events going on. So please make sure you check your bulletin, check your email, the Trinity Times. There's all kinds of announcements in there. You don't want to miss out on any of the coming events, as well as any of the other opportunities we have to dig deeper into our scriptures, to become just a little bit better at being the disciple that we all want to be. So, lots of stuff going on. Looking forward to sharing in all of those events with everybody as we continue to sort of re-kick our program year off as we look to a new September, a new school year. Congratulations to all the teachers and students who have made it through their first week and a bit. And certainly looking forward to sharing in some more exciting opportunities here at Trinity Cambridge. For right now, as I mentioned off the top, I have passed my written exams. I am allowed to continue to be an AZ tractor trailer driver, and looking forward to connecting with all of my colleagues on the highway when I get those moments to do so. But also important is that blessing that we share with one another. That blessing that the truck drivers offer to each other as they pass on the highway, that I now pass on to you. I invite you, my friends, to keep the shiny side up and the rubber side down. Blessings to you all from Rev Paul for this week's Message from the Truck.